Surface area and volume of a cone. Hopefully you watched the video on the cylinder. As far as volume goes, a cone is just a third of a cylinder. This exact same formula, you just multiply by 1/3. There is a unique formula for the lateral area, that's the up and down area, not including the circle. So let's start there. The lateral area of a cone is pi RL. L is the slant height. Slant height. You might remember from pyramids that a slant height was a height of one of the triangles that are on the faces. In this case, the slant height is from the circle to the very point, the very tip of the cone. Now we have an actual height, which is from the center of the circle up to the top, and we have the radius of the circle at the bottom. What's important here is that you realize that r squared plus h squared is equal to L squared, the slant height squared, Pythagorean theorem. You end up using this quite often to find the length you need, whether it's for volume or surface area. But pi times the radius times the slant height is the lateral area of a cone, everything but the circle. So if I want to do the total area on a cone, I take the pi RL, the lateral area, and I just add one circle, 1 pi r squared. So this is the one you need to know because you're going to remember you need to add a circle for total area. The volume, and you might have heard me just say this, it's the same exact as a cylinder, it's just a third of a cylinder. So a cylinder was the area base, pi r squared times the height, that's for a cylinder. For the volume of a cone, we just put a 1/3 in there. 1/3 of a cylinder with the same base and height. So let's take a look at some examples. So this question asks us to find the total surface area, but again, for the purposes of the video, I'm going to do both the area and the volume so you have an example of each. So the total area is pi RL, the lateral area, plus the circle, pi r squared. The first thing I need then is to find the slant height. Well, I know that 12 squared plus 16 squared is equal to L squared by the Pythagorean theorem. So 144 plus 256 is L squared. 144 plus 256 is 400. So L squared is 400. We'll take the square root of both sides and see that L is 20. Now we can find the area and the volume. So the total area is pi times the radius times pi RL times the slant height, 20, plus one circle, pi times the radius squared, pi times 12 squared. 12 times 20 is 240. 240 pi plus 144 pi. So our total area is 384 pi, and that would be inches squared. The volume is 1/3 area of the base, pi r squared, times the height. Now this is the actual height, meaning it's 16, not the slant height, but the actual height. So we get 1/3 pi times the radius squared times the height. And we'll take 12 squared times 16 and multiply that by a third or divide it by 3. And we get 768. So this is 768 pi, and this is volume, so it would be inches cubed.